Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're going to be speaking about TEOFIMO Lopez and Rolly Romero, reportedly set for August 22nd. And of course, we're going to get into the details of that fight being agreed to. We're also going to be speaking about what's going to be next for Abdullah Mason after coming off of a 12th round TKO against Abu Bell. Then, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. But before we get into all of that, if y'all could please hit the like button on the way in, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,600 mark. Looking to crack that 3,700 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. Shout out to everybody that's in the comments so far. I really appreciate everybody that's been showing consistent love, support, everybody that's been dropping the super chats, the cash apps, even when I'm not on the live, man. Thank you very much. Shout out to Marissa Alvarez with the first comment of the day. She said, "Hey, Mark, what's going on? Marissa, how you feeling?" That's the little sis in the building. What's up? What's up? Chris Maldonado, what up? What's going on, man? Talk to me. How we feeling out here in these streets, man? Let me know. Let me know. Slime El Tortador, what's going on? What's going on? My boy Slime made it like on the zone. Boots and Xander. What was that, like a aftermath, like the epilogue? Then he made it on the Matchroom epilogue too, man. My boy Slime was out there getting that shit in. You know what I'm saying? They had me in the background and shit like that, but my clips didn't make it to the final cut. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hating a little bit on that, but it is what it is. Shout out to my boy Slime. Asia 86 is in the building. He also made the cut. You know what I'm saying? My boy Lorenzo and the motherfucking Benzo. What up? Jay, what up? How we feeling out here, man? What's up? What's up? What's on your mind? How we feeling? What's up? What's up? Shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to the mob. We definitely in the building. Yes, sir. We got to talk about this TEOFIMO Lopez and Rolly Romero fight, man. Yeah, I mean, if it's true, that's a great fight for the welterweight division and the sport of boxing as a whole. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely something I'm going to be very interested in seeing. You know, TEOFIMO Lopez coming off of an embarrassing loss to Shakur Stevenson, moving up to 147, and hopes to vindicate himself against the hard-punching, awkward, dangerous fighter in Rolly Romero, man. That's going to be a good one right there. Dwyer, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? He said Rolly and 9. Ooh, we definitely going to talk about it. Because these dudes got history, man. They know each other very well. You know, they was good friends at one point in time. You know, and that shit seems to just go bad out of nowhere. I want to bring Rolly on the channel to really discuss that, but Rolly be acting like he be too good for my interviews, man. So I don't know. I'm gonna reach out to him. You know what I mean? Fuck it. You know, it is what it is. And I want to get the real story behind that. Cause I remember Rolly was like he had helped TEOFIMO Lopez from unaliving himself. You know, that's what Rolly said, not me. You know, Teo denies all of that, and you know, he said that the fact that Rolly lied about something like that, you know, he took that personal. I remember him saying that as well. TEOFIMO Lopez released clips of like him beating up on Rolly and sparring, and you know, it's a big little mess right now. You know what I'm saying? I remember they had ran into each other and they shook hands, but you know what I mean, you could tell they really didn't have much to say to each other. So that's definitely a brotherhood that, you know, done went bad, and now they're looking to fight each other at the end of the summer. You know what I'm saying? They talking about what's going down in Las Vegas. I'm going to go ahead and share the article for y'all to see. I'm going to just read a couple more comments. You know what I'm saying? My boy Asian 86 in the building said, I'm going to hold my prediction on this one for now. Yeah, I mean, it is early at the end of the day. And even though they're saying that it's official, we didn't see PBC announce it. We ain't see, you know, Todd Rank announce it. Anybody that's affiliated with either one of those fighters, you know, we didn't hear them really announce it. So, yeah, you know I mean, I guess we're just going to speak on, you know, the reports in itself, but we don't know definitively whether the fight is a done deal or not. But according to Andreas Hale, who works over at ESPN, he's saying it's a done deal. You know what I'm saying? He got the venue, he got the location, he has the date. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes to reality or not. But you know, that fight's made. Like I said, that's a great fight, man. And salute to Rolly Romero, because at this point, man, he's pretty much fought just damn near everybody, man. This dude fought Gervonta Davis. He fought Isaac Cruz. He fought Ryan Garcia. Now he about to fight Teofimo Lopez. Rolly stacking up a nice little resume, man. So you gotta salute. You gotta salute him. Yeah, he be acting funny with certain opponents. Like, at one point in time it was Giasov and shit like that. But Giasov lost to Jack Catterall. I also think Jack Catterall and Rolly Romero would be a great fight, but I guess Rolly just he's only after those big fights. You know what I mean? Like those big names. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's not a fight that he'll ever explore, whatever the case is. But Teofimo Lopez is on the table, and Rolly Romero has been struggling since getting the biggest win of his career, in my opinion, against Ryan Garcia. He's been struggling to get opponents. I remember at one point in time, it looked like Rolly had all of the options in the world. It seemed like he had like 4 options at one time, and they just all seemed to fall, out of his hands. I remember he had the Ryan Garcia rematch on the table. He had Mario Barrios, a possibility for that fight. They both were PBC, so I thought that would have been an easy fight to put together, but obviously not. And then he had the Manny Pacquiao fight on the table as well. And I was like, damn, if he gets that, Manny Pacquiao fight, that'd be huge. You know what I'm saying? And then what had ended up happening was, I believe, Manny Pacquiao had ended up fighting Mario Barrios. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what happened, or that was before that. Whatever. I know Mario Barrios ended up fighting Ryan, so both of those possibilities fell out the window. Then he had Manny Pacquiao, but according to Rolly Romero, Manny Pacquiao was asking for, a shit ton of money. He kept asking for more and more, so that fight fell through. Then he was attempting to get that Devin Haney fight when he had ran out of options, and then Devin Haney and them, that fell apart quickly after realizing that there wasn't no guarantee for them over on the PBC side. So they moved on from that situation. So Rolly's been. I said all of that to say Rolly has been, having a tough time locking in an opponent. So if he goes ahead, with a little bit of patience and he locks in the Teofimo Lopez fight, then that's huge for Rolly Romero. And listen, I think Rolly has, some advantages going into this fight. I think that this is a fight that he could very much win. And I know, Teofimo Lopez is, is quicker. He's fat. You could say that he has better reflexes. He's the better athlete and stuff like that. But we got to take certain things into consideration. We definitely going to get deeper into that subject. But I just want to go ahead and read this article for y'all, because I ain't going to lie. I'm trying to be in and out of this live today, man. I was contemplating coming on today. You know what I mean? Was just feeling a little tired, but I already had missed out on yesterday. So I'm like, you know what? We got to maintain a level of consistency. So I showed up, man. Y'all go ahead and hit the likes. Y'all go ahead and hit the likes. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Andreas Hill. Like I say, he just put together this article right here. And the title of the article goes as follows: Rolly Romero facing Lopez in first WBA welterweight title defense. Now, I ain't gonna lie, that's a hell of a first title defense. Even though Teofimo Lopez is coming from 140 and lost his, previous fight with Shakur Stevenson and stuff like that. Teofimo Lopez is still a dangerous guy. He's one of the most talented fighters in the sport of boxing, to be honest with you. Definitely has his flaws. Is very beatable in my opinion. We all know what Teofimo Lopez struggles with, but he's still game. It's not like Teofimo Lopez is a washed fighter or anything like that. He's still got a lot left in the tank, in my opinion. So this is definitely a tough outing for Rolly. But anyways, Andreas starts off with this article saying Rolly Romero will put his WBA welterweight title on the line against former 2-division champion Teofimo Lopez August 22nd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Sources confirmed to ESPN on Monday. A title fight will be available as both a Prime Video and DAZN pay-per-view. That's good for us, man. If you got a DAZN subscription already, that fight is definitely accessible to you. If you got Prime Video, that's something that's accessible to you as well. I think that's great for the sport when you have multiple platforms, streaming the fight. So that's good. Romero hasn't fought since he stunned Ryan Garcia for the vacant title last May in Times Square. The fight was for the regular version of the title, and Romero was elevated to full champion in August after Boots vacated the title to move up to 154. Romero has yet fight since Garcia, but has been linked to several opponents, including Devin Haney and Manny Pacquiao, for his first title defense. With those fights falling through, Romero will face Lopez, a former champion who is looking to win a world title in a third weight class. Lopez is a former unified lightweight champion and WBO junior welterweight champion. He is moving up to 147 after dropping his title to a one-sided loss to Shakur Stevenson in January. All right, so that's just a bunch of filler, to be honest with you. Didn't really say shit. Really didn't say too much about this, to be honest with you. All we know is, according to Andreas Hale, August 22nd, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, if y'all didn't know. And it would be streamed on DAZN pay-per-view and Prime Video. You know what I'm saying? So this is a good fight, man. Like I said, these guys actually have shout out to the man. I appreciate you, brother. But this is a great fight overall, man, just because when you really think about it, this is a fight that we didn't necessarily ask for, but it's a fight that I'm definitely not complaining about. When we look over like the history between these guys, like I said, they used to be friends. They done sparred a shit ton of rounds together. And things seem to sour between the two of them over time. Rolly Romero says that he's forgiven Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez said that he didn't really appreciate Rolly saying that he helped Teofimo Lopez from stopping himself, from unaliving himself. And, shit definitely got a little heated, got a little personal. Teofimo Lopez released clips of him beating up on Rolly and sparring and stuff like that. So they definitely not the best of friends. I actually seen them run into each other. And, they showed each other respect or whatever the case is. But you could tell it's definitely not the friendship that it used to be, because they had like a whole little dynamic duo situation going on a few years back when they were both lightweights, playing that little brotherhood role. So it would be dope to see these guys at a press conference. Not only that, man, Teofimo Lopez likes to put on a show. He likes to talk during these press conferences and get people riled up. Rolly hasn't been really talking that much lately in his last couple fights, but, Rolly doesn't mind talking a little smack neither. So I think this could make for a very interesting build-up. A world title's on the line, so that's very important as well. Teofimo Lopez is shooting to become a 3-division world champion. Rolly Romero is looking to defend his title that he just got at 147 pounds. So it's interesting, man. I think I could see both ways that these guys could beat each other. I think that Teofimo Lopez got a little bit of an uphill battle, though. Not necessarily with Rolly Romero, but within himself mentally. And what I mean by that is, he's coming off of a loss, and it was a one-sided ass whooping. Let's just keep it real. Shakur completely outclassed him, hit him with everything that he wanted to hit him with. Teofimo Lopez ultimately got embarrassed, man. He's throwing punches, swinging at thin air, and, every opportunity Shakur had, he's just hitting them with clean shots. And, Teofimo Lopez looked absolutely lost in there. Definitely looked like he was, shadow boxing. You feel what I'm saying? So it's going to be, and then, with the whole dynamic with his dad and shit like that, you could tell Teofimo Lopez, that really got to him from a mental aspect. And we already know Teofimo Lopez is already fragile as is. So, he's moving up in weight, and we got to take into consideration when he was at 140 pounds, he had a tough time stopping dudes. He had a tough time hurting dudes, putting guys away. I think, for the amount of time he was at 140 pounds, I think he only got one knockout. Beat solid guys like Arnold Barbosa, Josh Taylor and shit like that. But, he was unable, in my opinion, to hurt these guys, put them away. And I feel like his power drastically changed. His power drastically changed between 135 pounds to 140 pounds. So now you adding on an additional 7 pounds. Rolly is significantly bigger than Teofimo Lopez. From everybody that I know that's seen Teofimo Lopez personally, they always mention how small he looks. So now you're going up into a division that's probably close to Teofimo Lopez walk-around weight, and you're going in there with somebody like Rolly Romero, who may not be as skilled as you. He may not be the same level fighter as you, but he's big, he's fast, he's strong, he punches very hard, and Teofimo Lopez does get hit. And Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, doesn't do too well with guys who put pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? He likes fighters that stand directly in front of him, But whenever you got somebody like Steve Claggett, for example, that was able to push Teofimo Lopez back, absorb some shots and then throw some shots back. Like Teofimo Lopez doesn't have the most sound defense in the world. Like Teofimo Lopez does get hit. You seen how swelled up he looked against Steve Claggett and shit like that. Shakur Stevenson wasn't even loading up on his punches, and you seen how how soft Teofimo Lopez skin, and that's just like tissue paper, man. Like he opens up so easily. So when you got somebody as big, strong, explosive as Rolly Romero, you know what I mean? Rolly could land one of those big shots and not only hurt Teofimo Lopez, but possibly open him up. And once you get that blood going and shit like that, it could change the whole dynamic of the game. So I'm rooting for Rolly Romero. Don't know if he wins. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people have a tough time differentiating the two. You could be rooting for somebody, but feel like they're going to lose the fight. You could support somebody and still feel like they're going to come up short. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen between these two. I got to study Teofimo Lopez. If this fight's even made, we got to see how Teofimo Lopez, we got to see how he actually looks at the weight. Does he look fast? Does he look strong? I think it's just very hard for me to believe that Teofimo Lopez is going to bring something better than what he brought at 140 pounds. T.O.'s a small dude, to be honest with you, man. I think he's going to be at a serious disadvantage from a size standpoint. But then that's, Teofimo Lopez, a couple things that he has good going for him is that, he's fast. He's twitchy. He got that fast twitch muscle. You know what I'm saying? He has good reflexes. And he could definitely frustrate Rolly Romero with, his athleticism and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I think Rolly Romero has to take I think he needs to get back into his old Rolly bag. The undefeated Rolly Romero before Gervonta Davis, cracked his chin. I'm talking about being aggressive, punches and bunches, pushing fighters back, getting in exchanges with these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like if we see Rolly get on that type of time where, he's being physical, throw it, you come from a judo background, man, get physical with T.O., man. You know what I mean? That motherfucker clinch you or whatever, throw that motherfucker down, push him against the ropes. You know what I mean? Put that forearm on his chest, get to work. Like I think if Rolly takes that type of approach where he's aggressive, taking chances, bullying T.O., he could have some success. But I think where Rolly may have some trouble is if he's just sitting back, just waiting for an opportunity. Because since Rolly Romero has been with Ismael Salas, he has been working on his ring intelligence a bit more. He's been working on setting up punches and, just building his intelligence as a fighter. I don't think that Rolly is an intelligent enough fighter to play chess with Teofimo Lopez. That's just my opinion. So I think Rolly needs to do what Rolly does best, and I think he needs to make it a fight. The more that Rolly Romero makes it a fight and it gets into a 50, and the more 50-50 exchanges he gets into with T.O., the more success he may have. Because I think that is more of a possibility that Rolly hurts T.O. in comparison to T.O. hurting Rolly, especially at 147. You wasn't cracking shit at 140 pounds. You wasn't really dazing or hurting, dropping nobody at 140. So what am I? I'm just supposed to believe that you're going to be hurting stronger, bigger welterweights? I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of questions around Teofimo Lopez's name when it comes to being at 147 pounds. He's a smaller dude. He's going to be at a disadvantage with just about everybody that's in the division. You know what I'm saying? So rooting for Rolly Romero. I really hope that he pulls it off, preferably by knockout. You know what I'm saying? I really don't be rocking. I don't rock with Teofimo Lopez at all. I don't like him. But I can appreciate that both of these guys have come together to make this fight happen. So if this is true, you know what I mean? This is according to Andreas Hale. I'm sure he has some sources that, probably relayed him some accurate information. So, salute to him for putting the information out. August 22nd, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas is going down. Basically, that's a hometown fight for Rolly Romero because that's where he's from. And, it's also a hometown fight for Teofimo Lopez. I know at one point in time he was living in Las Vegas. So, that's a comfortable location for both guys. And I think this has all of like the ingredients to really be a good, exciting fight. I mean, outside of the ring with the promotion as well as inside of the ring with their styles clashing. You know what I'm saying? My boy Slime said if T.O. win, Devin never gonna be two-time undisputed. Yeah, he definitely gonna hold on to that belt for dear life. I mean, and not give anybody any type of opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why I'm rooting for Rolly for real. For real. At least Rolly, taking these chances, rolling the dice. At least try to make a fight happen with Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez act like he was interested in the Devin Haney fight, and when they sent the contract out, he refused to sign it. Then try to blame everybody else for why he ducked Dev. But anyways, man, we ain't got to dwell too much on that. Great article from Andreas Hill. Thank you for keeping us informed, keeping us in the loop of what's going on behind the scenes in the boxing world. You know what I'm saying? Hope this fight gets made. This will definitely push the boxing culture forward. And let me see what the people saying. My boy Ralph in the builder said, if Rolly won, that would be crazy. Rolly would have a former 2 division champ on his resume. Yeah. T.O.'s a good name to have on the resume. You know what I'm saying? At this point, he only had 2 losses, so that's still a good version of Teofimo Lopez on his resume if he beats him. My boy Anonymous in the building said T.O. could outbox, but I do wonder how T.O. deals with the physicality of his fight because I don't think he's a true welterweight. He's definitely not. At least not to me. I don't even think he moved up to 140 because he was having trouble with the weight. I think he moved up from 140 because, what I'm saying, he just wanted to explore a different route. I think he just wanted to take another opportunity, and I think he just wanted to see different people to compete against. I don't think he wanted to fight any other champions that was at 140 pounds. You know what I mean? Him and Gary Antoine Russell got some type of weird brotherhood. I don't know what's up with that. You know what I'm saying? It's a few champions at 140 pounds to my knowledge. Who's the so WBC at 140, I think Gary Antoine Russell, right? I'm tripping. Yeah, I think so. WBA. Damn, my brain fried. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Who the champions at 140 right now? That's So the IBF is vacant because Hitchin bitch ass left. Gary Antoine Russell got the WBA. Dalton Smith got the WBC. Shakur got the WBO. Don't see T.O. fighting no Dalton Smith. Don't see T.O. fighting no Gary Antoine Russell. You know what I mean? I just don't see it happening. So it is what it is. Shout out to everybody that's correcting me in the chat. Thank you very much. But yeah, I just don't see Teofimo Lopez staying around at 140. I think he went on to move up to 147 because there's some fights there that he deems to be winnable. So, I mean? I guess Rolly Romero is the route that he's willing to take. I think he sees something in Rolly, based off of like previous sparring sessions and just believing in his abilities. I think he feels that he could beat Teofimo and Rolly Romero. And Rolly Romero probably, is feeling very confident after the Ryan win, very confident in his abilities at 147, because when I had interviewed Rolly Romero, he was saying, yo, like, when I was at 130, I was at 140. And when I was at 140, I should have been at 147. Like he just was really emphasizing the fact that 147 was the perfect weight for him and shit like that. And I ain't gonna lie, he looks fast, he looks strong, he looks like a true welterweight. So I think that's gonna be very advantageous for him in this fight against T.O. I just hope that he doesn't get pulled into like a chess match with T.O. You know what I mean? Trying to think in there with him and there's no reason for you to do that. And I hope it's not a situation where he tries to play counterpuncher with Teofimo Lopez. I don't think that'll be ideal neither. I think the moment that you allow T.O. to be first, he dictates the rhythm of the fight, the pace. I don't really think you want to do that with T.O. I think you want to make T.O. uncomfortable for as long as that fight lasts, pushing him back against the ropes. Like I said, and I say this all the time, I call this bag the Orlando Salido bag. Got to get in your Orlando Salido bag when it comes to somebody like Teofimo. Teofimo is he doesn't have the best defense. You could crack Teofimo Lopez. You could hurt Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? I was actually watching that Arnold Barbosa fight, and I seen Arnold Barbosa buzz Teofimo Lopez at the end of one of those rounds. I remember seeing, I'm like, damn, how did I not catch this when I was watching the fight live? But he got buzzed against Arnold Barbosa. We seen him get dropped, multiple times throughout his career. So it's not a far-fetched idea that, Rolly Romero could put some hands on T.O. You feel what I'm saying? So I like it, man. I like it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do. So, it is what it is. Moving on. Abdullah Mason coming off of one of the biggest, most impressive victories of his career against Albert Bell. Although it was a bit controversial, we still giving Abdullah all of the props in the world, just based off of how the way he was able to turn around that fight and really get things going to the later half of that fight. Albert Bell was no easy work. He was a very tough task. And, Abdullah Mason made the adjustments necessary to go ahead and defeat Albert Bell. So now the question is, what exactly is in store for Abdullah Mason? Because when you look over the 135-pound division, the WBC belt is vacant. The IBF champion as of right now is Raymond Mortataya. And from what we understand, he's going to be fighting Robson Conceição next. So that fight's not available. When we're looking at let me see. When we're looking at the the WBA, that's vacant as of right now. It looks like at whatever time, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's going on. Floyd Schofield and Lucas Body might actually fight each other for that belt. So it's. I think it's safe to say at this point in time that unification fight for Abdullah Mason is not next. So there's a lot of different possibilities for Abdullah Mason. They're not necessarily rushing him either because he is young and he's still, regardless of him being a world champion, he's still a developing product. So I want to know what the people think in the chat, man. I want to know what the nation thinks. What's a good next opponent for Abdullah Mason? Now, this is only under the condition that Joe Cordina doesn't get his visa shit situated by the end of this year, because I would like to see Abdullah Mason fight, at the end of, 2026, like, November, December. Shit, if you can even get an October date, that'd be even better. I mean, the less we wait, the better. And I understand that Joe Cordina, Anonymous, you're totally right. Joe Cordina is still the #1 guy in the WBO. And, it's not us saying, fuck Joe Cordina, we're going to move on to bigger and better things, because the reality is Abdullah may not have much better options outside of Joe Cordina. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're looking at guys like William Cepeda, he fighting Lamont Roach. They taking a WBC route. Javier Rivera, he not fighting nobody. He holding on to that interim WBC title for as long as he can. Like I said, Raymond Mortataya fighting Robson Conceição. You know what I'm saying? So, and the WBA is vacant, and Floyd Schofield ain't planning on fighting Abdullah anytime soon. If you know, you fucking know. So, Joe Cordina might be the best option for, Abdullah Mason. Joe Cordina might, I'm sorry, I don't know if I said that right. Let me rephrase, let me reiterate myself. I think Joe Cordina may be the best option for Abdullah Mason moving forward. Joe Cordina is a 2-time world champion at 130 pounds, and he's looking to move up to 135 and do the same. And Joe Cordina, I think that he's somebody that Abdullah Mason can very much beat. Let's not get that misconstrued. But he does have some tricks up his sleeve. He does have some sneaky power. He definitely got a sneaky right hand. So that's definitely something that Abdullah Mason has to pay attention to. But considering the fact that Joe Cordina likes to be on the front foot, he stands directly in front of you, he likes to be aggressive, I think that plays in Abdullah Mason's favor at this point. Unless he clips Abdullah, I just don't see how, he's going to trade fire with Abdullah and be okay after that. I think Abdullah is just a different monster. That's somebody that you're going to put your best outboxing impression against, because I feel like that's the only way any of these guys at 135 pounds is going to be able to have any type of success against him. I don't think anybody stands in the pocket with him at 135 and comes out, unscathed. I just don't see it happening. You know what I'm saying? Jay said, I like Abdullah Mason versus Padley. Padley lost his most recent fight. For real? Josh Padley lost again? I ain't hear that. I heard he was doing well. Damn, what happened? What happened to that boy? Nah, he ain't lose. Josh Padley ain't lose. They said it was it looked like, according to the scorecards, it was a close fight. Yeah, he's still, He doing all right. Maybe Abdullah versus Alan Chavez. Well, Bethaniel, Alan Chavez is high up on the rankings. He's actually ranked number 2 in the WBO. And listen, man, if Joe Cordina does, like I said, if he doesn't get that visa shit situated, because for those of y'all who don't know, the reason why Joe Cordina wasn't able to come over here was because he had gotten into some legal trouble, from what I understand, out in the UK for defending himself. You know what I mean? That shit was clearly on camera. Dude was antagonized. Like, I think he pushed Joe Cordina. Joe Cordina sat him the fuck down, and I think he got in trouble based off of that. In my eyes, that was clearly self-defense, but I don't know how the laws go out there in the UK, so maybe he's gonna have to face some type of punishment. Regardless, I think it was a pending case. The US ain't want to take that chance, and they pretty much didn't give him his visa to come over here. So, that's why Albert Bell was given the opportunity. Now, if he's able to get that cleared up by, like I said, by the end of 2026, I wouldn't mind seeing Abdullah Mason fight Joe Cordina. I still think that's a great fight. You know what I'm saying? So, I would still like to see that fight. If not, there are some other guys like Alan Chavez, like Bethaniel said. I never really watched dude fight, but I heard his name has been ringing bells. William Cepeda is also ranked number 3 in the WBO from what I see. William Cepeda, like I said, he's locked in with Lamont Roach right now, so we're going to completely exclude him. Sam Noakes, ranked number 4. Come on. Like, we seen that fight. We seen how the way Abdullah punched on Sam Noakes. Great competitive fight, but Abdullah Mason absolutely dogged Sam Noakes. Now, there's somebody else by the name of Shu Utsuki. I'm assuming this is an Asian fighter. I'm not going to assume where he's from. Well, if I had to guess, he's probably Japanese. That name just sounds like it's in line with Japanese. But like I said, he's ranked, Shu Utsuki is ranked number 5. Albert Bell is ranked number 6. And then, you got guys like Javier Herrera ranked at number 8. But we all know Javier Herrera's, he's not going the WBO route. Let's just keep that shit real, man. And Javier Herrera, obviously he punched hard and shit like that, but he ain't got shit for Abdullah Mason. I think we all know this. Floyd Schofield ranked number 9. At this point, they should just take his fucking ranking away from him because he do not want no smoke with no goddamn Abdullah Mason. You know what I'm saying? He don't want no smoke with Abdullah Mason. We all know that. But then we got some interesting, what would be I know this will probably go bad for dude, but I see right here, number 12 is Mark Magsayo. Mark Magsayo is an offensive machine, just like Abdullah, so that'd be a good shootout. That'd probably be a quick shootout, to be honest with you, but it'd be a shootout nonetheless. I think that'd be a very exciting fight. Lucas Body, number 13. Why would you fight for the WBO when you literally got somebody that's more beatable, in my opinion, than Floyd Schofield in the WBA? Then we got somebody by the name of Mitchell Smith and Cameron Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know how, with Abdullah having all of this attention on him right now, I don't see how they make that fight. They say, yeah, Mark getting packed up. Oh, yeah, Mark Magsayo would definitely get packed up, but, man, that'd be a hell of a fucking fight. Wow, however long it lasts, whether it's 2-3 rounds, Mark Magsayo going to bring that shit, bro. He going to come to Rumble. He just going to get chopped up and sent on his way, but, yeah, that probably get a little ugly, I ain't going to lie, but Mark Magsayo, he definitely let them bitches go. And he don't know how to fight going backwards, so that'd be a shootout for sure. But anyways, those are the possibilities for Abdullah Mason. I just think that while he's in this moment where he doesn't have any of the other champions available, I think that James Prince, top ranking them, Todd DeBuff, whoever's in charge of, or somebody, whoever's influential in Abdullah Mason's career, I think they need to continue developing him, man. Getting some guys that he'll be able to learn from, not guys that he's just gonna pack off rip. You know what I'm saying? Like Joe Cordina, definitely a great fight. Abel Chavez, Alan Chavez, that's a good fight as well. Shit. Actually, Renee Tellez Jerome is ranked number 11 in the WBO. I mean, that's a little tough, motherfucker. I think Abdullah stops him, but he might make it through some rounds. That's the type of shit that I would look for Abdullah. You know what I'm saying? if unification fights were available immediately, then I would just say to go for that. You know what I mean? Once you get that world title, the training wheels are off. But in my opinion, but while he has this room, while he has this opportunity to learn, grow, and develop, you know what I mean? Pick somebody from your sanctioning body that's available and go ahead and fight them and continue adding to your experience. You saw Abdullah will beat the shit out of Javier. Oh yeah, Javier is trash to me. I'm not no disrespect, bro, but like I watched Javier Herrera fight. The first thing I said was, I said, "This the nigga who was calling out Shakur Stevenson." Like that would be Shakur Stevenson's easiest payday to date. That dude is garbage. Like I don't even know how he got in the position that he's in to fight for the WBC interim. And the WBC know he trash too because that's why they keep playing with him. That's why they keep playing with him. You know what I'm saying? When that belt, they should, ain't based off of like him being an interim WBC champion. Shouldn't they just elevate him to full status champion? Shouldn't they just elevate him? Then they do that to people before. Oh, you got the interim belt. Oh, let's elevate you to full status champion. Then they just do that with Then they do that with Mario Barrios. When he beat Ugas, I think he won like the WBC interim. And then when Bud vacated all the belts, they just elevated him to full status champion. Am I tripping or not? Is that what happened, y'all? Ain't that what happened? Let me check Mario Barrios' box rack, man. Hold on, man. As much as I hate to look at his trash ass box rack, he beat your Dennis Ugas for the WBC interim title. Yeah. And by the time he got the Abel Ramos, he was already a full status champion. So why don't they do the same for Javier Herrera? What makes him any different? He was the interim champion just like Mario Barrios. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck going on? Oh, it was after Boots left. I'm sorry. I thought they elevated No, they elevated Barrios when Bud vacated. When Bud relinquished his titles and went up to 54, they elevated Barrios because Boots and Barrios was champion at the same time at 147. That's when Boots was trying to get them fights, but they wasn't even looking in his direction. But anyways, they said Barrios got connections, bro. He Mexican. That's his connection. And WBC, man. Hey, WBC, man, they back they Mexicans. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But they obviously get a lot of passes, bro. The WBC. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when Boots got the IBF. Yeah, that's when they started elevating guys. Why haven't they did that? I said all of that to say, why the fuck they ain't do that for Javier Herrera? Why is he not the WBC lightweight champion of the world right now? Because they know that nigga ain't worthy, man. They know that nigga trash. Why are we going to give you this WBC title? We ain't going to make no money off you. Don't nobody know you stupid ass. They probably lose money making that nigga the champion. Fuck 3% of what, nigga? We ain't gonna you don't get paid like that. We gonna get 3% of what? 50,000, man. It's a waste of time. WBC like, nah, we need them 7, 8 figure niggas holding this belt, not you. You know what I mean? That's why we gonna have Cepeda and Lamont Roach fight each other, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And that's about it. Hopefully you get an opportunity for the winner. That's it. Barrios had 3 title fights and never defended it. Man, Barrios got to be the shittiest fighter of this generation, bro. When did him and Ryan fight? Was that 2026? Yeah, man, that shit was like back in February. Man, listen, for the Mazuma TV Awards later this year, man, we need to come up with a new category, man. Let me check. Let me check what my categories is. Hold on. Give me 1 second. What my categories is for this motherfucking Mazuma TV Awards. Let me see. I got that shit somewhere. No, I got the pound for pound list right here. Man, hold on. Barrios definitely is a shoo-in for one of these categories. Let me check my notes. Let me see. So we got a few different categories, right? So we got promoter of the year, division of the year, trainer of the year, card of the year, drug cheat of the year, prospect of the year, comeback fighter of the year, performance of the year, boogeyman of the year, robbery of the year, upset of the year, duck of the year, ass whooping of the year, fighter of the year. Did I say that already? No, I didn't. I didn't say that yet. Fight of the year, knockout of the year, and goofy of the year. I ain't gonna lie, yo, Barrios might make that goofy of the year list, or we might need to make a new category. We might need to make a new category to talk about like bum of the year or something. Maybe we'll call it disappointment of the year. Oh yeah. Yeah, Tricks, we got a drug cheat of the year. Every year somebody popped dirty. Who popped dirty this year? Was it I think we already gave John Beck his smoke. Who else tested positive? Who tested positive so far this year? I think niggas been staying low key. Who tested positive this year? Bum of the year, man. I'm fucking with that bum of the year category. Mario Barrios is gonna be unanimously. I ain't even going. You know how like some shit. You know how some shit is just like niggas don't need to vote on. You know what I mean? Like I got this. I got this. No, John DeBeck tested positive back in 2025. I think. Subrel did pop this year. The nigga that fought Morel, the Russian dude. You talking about Katsiev? I thought John DeBeck popped in 2025 because he's on my drug cheat of the year from 2025. Yeah, he tested positive in November of 2025. So John DeBeck, he already got his award. Katsiev tested positive. Yeah. What fighter? Let me see. Lawrence Okoli. Yeah. Joseph Parker. Oh yeah, Joseph Parker. It's been a little quiet for the drug cheats, man. Subro was in November. Yeah, that was last year. Yeah, man. The drug cheats been pretty quiet this year. We know y'all niggas still doing it. Y'all just ain't get caught yet. That's all. There was some boy that was like, oh, somebody about to come out with a positive drug test. It's gonna come out soon. A lot of people saying it's David Benavidez. I hope not. I hope not, man. You know what I mean? I already done support. I continue to support Benavidez from the cocaine, drug tests, and him missing weight multiple times. And you know what I mean? Like I've been rocking with Benavidez, bro. You know what I mean? I even gave him a pass for that missing weight situation because I was in the bubble during the pandemic with PBC, and bro, it was damn near impossible to train to lose weight. So I gave him just from experiencing the bubble myself. I gave him a pass. Cocaine, I'm like, all right, he did that shit. He got caught outside, outside of training camp. Nigga was just said his uncle died and he was having a hard time coping with it. I mean, I don't think that's a valid excuse in my opinion, but he wasn't taking it during training camp. So I was like, all right, the motherfucker just liked the party. You know what I'm saying? But I hope David don't come out with no positive test because now I see his wife airing him out on social media. That the reason why she called off the wedding was because of something deeper than cheating, that he has personal issues. Now, she could be talking about this nigga playing with the coke. I don't know. Maybe he back on that coke. I don't know. David a wild nigga. But what I also know is David like to drink too. We don't seen this nigga drunk at fights and all types of shit. So, you know what I mean? Benavidez be in training camp for 5-6 months straight. You know what I mean? So maybe when you know what I mean, he not in training camp. He don't know how to act. Maybe that's why the nigga be in training camp for 4 or 5 months at a time, because when he not focused on boxing, he be losing his fucking mind. There's some people that be like that. Like, they gotta stay busy. They have to stay busy, because if they don't, they do some dumb shit. Maybe David one of them type people that he can't chill. Some niggas just can't chill. They need something to keep their mind, going. If they don't, once their mind slow down, they start resorting to doing stupid shit. Now it's not definitive. What I just said about David Benavidez, that's not definitive. And I'm really hoping that that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, David's one of my favorite fighters in boxing today. So I would hate that this motherfucker just got a drug habit. Like, there's too many fighters from the past done had drug habits, man. Like, I don't want this shit to continue playing. Like, Roberto Duran, drug problems. Sugar Ray Leonard, drug problems. Wilfred Benitez, drug problems. Aaron Pryor, drug problems. Pernell Whitaker, drug problems. And shit, I ain't even name all of them, bro. Trust me, I ain't even name half of them. Not even a third of them. Edwin Rosario, drug problems. It's a whole bunch of them. And that's really plagued the boxing community for years now. And if it ain't drugs, then it's the liquor. And we all know fighters that's full-blown alcoholics. Yeah, Chavez Sr., the list goes on and on and on. I just don't want David to follow that same role and destroy what he got going on. You know what I mean? I seen him taking accountability on social media, like, it's all my fault, it ain't hers. You know what I mean? Like, she loved me, she's been there for me, and we're working things out right now. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I think her airing it out publicly, man, I thought that shit was real corny. I thought that shit was super corny, actually. I don't like when people in relationships run to the internet to air out their significant other. And that's real attention seeking, in my opinion. That's real messy. And you know what I'm saying? If shit is being done in private between, if y'all having problems in private, there's no reason to bring it up publicly. Work it out privately or just split. Really that simple. Was the Cleveland card better than the Brooklyn card? Fuck no. Not even close. In my opinion. Bounce back. Cleveland, I ain't gonna lie, that Cleveland card was kind of underwhelming, man. Like, I seen the only ones I felt like who really showed out and did their thing was the Mason brothers. The motherfuckers who, actually from Cleveland. Like, Abdullah did his thing. He had a good fight with Albert Bell. Ibrahim Mason was tweaking. He beat the shit out of that boy. I ain't get to see the other Mason, but from what I heard, he did well too. But I ain't gonna lie, like, Tiger Johnson, talented. Love what he brings to the table. That wasn't a great performance to me. I think he's way better than that. I think there's more levels to his game than that. I thought he underperformed. I think he's much better than that. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. And I felt the same way about Shoo Shoo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought, Bruce Carrington, he started off doing well. It's just like these motherfuckers they beat these guys. Like, Tiger beat his opponent. Yes. Shoo Shoo beat his opponent. Yes. But they didn't go that extra mile, in my opinion, to really show that there's levels between the two. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looked like it was getting too easy for Bruce at certain points. And then, it seemed like he had some type of mental lapses and was getting hit with certain shots, seen him get hurt to the body, seen him get knocked down. And that was a knockdown. I don't give a fuck what Chris Manning says during the live commentary. I don't care what. Who else said that? I think like Tim Bradley was saying that wasn't a knockdown. It was one of them guys. It was Andre Ward. Not Andre Ward. Andre Ward wasn't even there. Sean Porter. That was definitely a knockdown, bro. Like, even if the shot hit you behind the head, if you turn your head, if I'm in the middle of throwing a punch and I'm throwing that bitch, right? And you turn your head as I'm throwing the punch, if I make contact there and you go down, you gave me that shot. That is a knockdown. It ain't like I reached around your head and just hit you in the back of your head and hit you with a rabbit. No, I didn't hit you with a rabbit punch. You turned your head. You feel what I'm saying? Tim said it was a knockdown. Well, shout out to Tim because he know what he talking about. That was definitely a knockdown. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, bounce back. They didn't step on the gas. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's very important to do when you're coming up in the game, right? Because Bruce is a champion. Bruce Carrington's a champion, but he still has a lot to prove as being a top dog in 126. You can't perform that way and then, you know what I mean, be upset that people are acknowledging other guys like Rafael Espinoza as the best champion at 126. You have to separate yourself from your opponents. And a lot, you got to step on the gas and really prove it to him. And Bruce Carrington definitely, ran into some obstacles. Tiger Johnson, it was like the performances was just underwhelming, man. The ones in Brooklyn, on the other hand, every fight was good. From the opening fight all the way to the main event, every fight that happened on that card, I was entertained by. I thought Emiliano Vargas did his thing. Got some knockdowns, got the stoppage, whatever the kid. A little bit of a premature stoppage, to be honest with you, but you know what I mean. Good performance overall. Emiliano did his thing. Ben Whitaker, that stoppage was a little crazy too. I ain't gonna lie. Did his thing though. It was exciting. Juanita Lopez knocked Bo out, one punch. Get with that. Yuri Cedeno and Jahi Tucker. It went to the cards, but guess what? It was entertaining. Then, of course, we ain't got to speak about Boots and Zaya. We done spoke on that 1,000,001 times. Phenomenal fight. One of the best fights of the year, in my opinion. Great effort from both guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, Abdullah Mason and Albert Bell was great, yes, but the undercard didn't really live up to the expectations for me. When I first heard that Bruce Carrington and Tiger Johnson was on the card, I said, oh, this shit lit. This shit lit. But you know what I mean? Because I feel like neither one of those guys outside of Abdullah performed to the best of their ability, what I feel like they're capable of. It was underwhelming to me. Yeah, you got the win. Congratulations, Bruce. You got a title defense. Yeah, Tiger Johnson, you know what I mean? You got some regional belts or whatever the case is now, but neither one of y'all performances stick or stood out. Oh, yeah, that was another one. I heard, I didn't get to watch it, but, Mazuma TV 2025 prospect of the year, Scooter. I heard he didn't do so well either. I didn't get to watch it. I was going over some fight film with my fighter. That's what I was doing. He's fighting this Saturday at Let's Be Elite in Northeast Philly, 7 p.m. if y'all want to come through and show love. I was going over some fight film with him, so I wasn't able to watch Scooter fight. But a lot of people felt like he lost. You know what I'm saying? Look, people saying robbery. Scooter, look, Trick said Scooter lost, in my opinion. Scooter for sure, robbery, according to Al DePal. Bethaniel says Scooter got lucky. Justin Jackson says Scooter was lackluster. Lorenzo says Scooter laid a goose egg in the ring. God damn. Rouse says Scooter laid an egg. See? Y'all speaking for me. Is there really much I have to say outside of that? So that just goes on to what I was saying earlier. What's his name again? Like Derek Davis or something like that? What's his real name? He was my prospect of the year last year too, because he was doing his thing. Scooter Davis. I'm saying? But it just seemed like a lot of these dudes underperform. I don't know if there was something in the water out there in Cleveland. Most likely not, though, because the brother showed out. So if the brother showed out, why didn't y'all? And then, Tiger Johnson said that he didn't fight in Cleveland in 10 years or some shit like that. Since like 2016, or it was he either said 2016 or he hasn't fought there since like a very young age. I'm like, damn, with you knowing that should have given you more of a reason to show out. This shit just wasn't it, man. So there's a lot of lackluster performances on the card, in my opinion. Whereas in Brooklyn, everybody was showing out or fighting to the best of their ability. Like Xander, even though he got smoked, he showed out. He gave Boots everything he could. You could tell he got beat in the submission. When I watched it live, I was like, oh man, bro, I was the first nigga, bro. When I seen he looked at his corner, I thought, oh, this nigga quit, right? And I was telling everybody, I said, man, this nigga Xander just quit, blah, 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 blah. But then I got to thinking about it, right? Because I'm a coach, and I always tell fighters, yo, man, like, we don't ever want this to happen. But if there's ever a situation where you get knocked down or you get hit with an 8 count, the first thing I want you to do is look over at us. That's the first thing I want to do. First thing I want you to do is look over to us and listen to what we have to say. You know what I'm saying? And I think Xander was just doing that. Because even when you knock somebody down, you're supposed to look at your corner. So Xander was probably looking. He probably saw exactly what they were doing. They were looking to throw the towel, and he had to respect it because that's what the fuck he hired them for. I mean, he not on no Deontay Wilder shit when niggas throw the towel. He fired his whole team. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think Xander quit. I just think he got broke, and that happens to certain fighters. You can have all the heart in the world, you can have all the dog in the world, but you can get broke. You are human. Everybody has their limits. Ain't not one motherfucker that you know on this earth that don't have their limits. That doesn't have a limit to what they can take. My boy Trick said, Mazuma, do you think the 2-week early notice for Albert Bell might have affected him in the fight? As a coach, is it tough to get ready for 2 weeks in advance? I mean, look, you could look at it one way where it's like, spar Abdullah Mason 1,000,001 times. Do you really need that much time to prepare for that style if you're already familiar from sparring with him? But then I also understand the other side, where it's like, bro, I was getting ready for Andy Cruz for X amount of time. Andy Cruz is a smaller guy. He's, an outboxer. You know what I'm saying? He's more calculated. He's more economical. So I was getting ready for that style this whole time. I'm getting ready for Abdullah Mason, who is the complete opposite, in my opinion, of Andy Cruz. You know what I mean? Higher pace, more intensity, more aggression, more speed, more power, more explosiveness, going for the kill. Like there's a lot more danger involved when you fight somebody like Abdullah Mason in comparison to Andy Cruz. I will feel more safer in the ring going in there with an Andy Cruz than I would with an Abdullah Mason because their mentalities are different. They both want to win, but Andy wants to do it in the smoothest way possible, just like a lot of Cubans do. I mean, if they could coast to a victory, they will. Andy will knock you out if the opportunity presents itself. But like he ain't going all out trying to put you on a fucking t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? But Abdullah trying to get you up out of there quick, fast, in a motherfucking hurry. He trying to make sure he toe tag you. That's the mentality that he got. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. I think that I see both sides of the coin. But yeah, I think, and it wasn't even 2 weeks to be honest with you, Tricks. It was 10 days, so that's less than 2 weeks. That's 4 days less than 2 weeks. So yeah, that may have played an effect because he probably had a whole strategy and was specifically working towards that style of Andy Cruz. Now he had to switch the whole shit up because he got a better opportunity. He probably was banking on the sparring, but you know what I'm saying, sparring in the real fights is different. You know what I mean? And maybe if he knew that he was fighting Abdullah 8 to 12 weeks in advance, he probably could have pushed his conditioning a bit better. You know what I mean? He probably would have, been in a lot better shape so he could last them later rounds. And you know what I mean? So in my opinion, did it have an effect? I think it did. You know what I mean? Maybe if he had Abdullah on his mind for 8 to 12 weeks instead of 10 days, his mentality probably would have been different. His approach probably would have been different. You know what I'm saying? So I think it did. To answer your question, Tricks, I think it did have an effect. No, Tricks, I get it. He was supposed to take the opportunity. Like, bro, you 33 years old. You have yet to fight in a 12-rounder. Never fought for a world title. You so used to getting told no, 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 no. You finally get a yes, but you got a fight coming up with Andy Cruz. Nigga, fuck Andy Cruz. Let's go fight for this world title. Fuck a IBF title eliminator. Let's try to get this fucking world title. Yeah, Abdullah's dangerous. Yeah, I done sparred him before. Yeah, this is somebody that I fuck with. This is a good friend of mine. But this might be the only opportunity that I'll ever get. So I understand the mentality. Absolutely. I understand him not passing up on that opportunity. If I were able to turn down that opportunity, he'd look like a fucking fool. Fundora was a last minute replacement for Zoo in their first fight. No excuses. Very true. Very true. But y'all got any last questions before I get up out of here, man? About to call it a night. I got the day off tomorrow, so I'm gonna sleep in for sure. Yeah, they say either Albert or cancel the card. They help each other out. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take a bathroom break. I'll be right back, y'all. Give me 1 second. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We back. Let me see what the people talking about. Bell should still fight Cruz later this year. Whoa. That's still a good fight. It's still a good fight. I think Andy Cruz got a replacement though, and it all depends on how Andy Cruz performs in this next fight because Andy Cruz comes out successful. My fault. If Andy Cruz comes out successful in this one, he might move higher up in the rankings, and he may not have to worry about facing Albert Bell. He fighting Abraham Montoya. So we'll see. Did I see that pro box card for late August? Yeah, I see my boy Najee Lopez getting back in the mix. I fuck with Najee Lopez, bro. I think that dude has a lot of potential. I'm just excited to see how the light heavyweight division how it come together, man. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you, that's gonna be the big three at light heavyweight. You got Najee Lopez, you got Ben Whitaker, you got Atifo Burlington. I'm telling you, that's gonna be the three right there. A lot of people sleeping on Atif because they're not really familiar with him. I mean, he's not getting the exposure that like a Ben Whitaker or even a Najee Lopez is getting right now. So like he a little bit in the shadows. But I'm telling you, bro. Remember what I told y'all niggas about Jaron Ennis, bro? I told y'all anybody that will listen before he was world champion and all that, bro. He's one of the Boots is the best fighter I've ever seen in the gym. Like special. I've never seen anything like him. Atif is not too far off from that, bro. Like I don't know how it's going to transition to the pro ranks. He has to show us. He has to show and prove. You know what I'm saying? But Atif is a special fucking fighter, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like Atif could, you know what I mean? Like niggas don't talk about this because they don't really know Atif, bro. I trained with him for years. I helped him his first 8 professional fights. He was with, my team. Coach Sharon Baker, Lando Rosa, Marcus Rosa. This dude, Atifo Burlington, could fight both stances the same way. Just like how y'all talk about, Jaron and his Terrence Crawford. Atif could do the same thing. Atif punches extremely hard with either hand. His punch placement. What stands out about him is his speed. His speed. Like his speed at the weight is insane. Like he's faster than welterweights that I know, 140 guys that I know. He could be very elusive as well. I used to do rounds with Atif on the pads, and I'm doing everything I can to hit this man. I cannot hit that man. Disguising the punches, feints. I'm doing everything. I cannot touch him. And if I ever touched him, bro, I couldn't hit him with that same shot again. And Atif got sparring stories for days too. I done seen him pack niggas. Like, trying to tell you. So that light heavyweight division, bro. Said, do I have faith in Zach Chelly? You talking about the bull who stopped David Morrell? Is that who you referring to? Or is that somebody else? Chelly sound familiar. Yeah, you talking about the bull who stopped David Morrell? No, I don't. That'd be a good fight for Ben Whitaker, though. Fuck it. That'd actually be a good fight for Ben Whitaker. What y'all think? Be a good one. The nigga said that he not ready for David right now. Nigga ain't ready for Bivol. This nigga's not ready for better beef. Keep the nigga busy. That's a good fight. Ben Whitaker versus Zach Chelly. They both from the UK. Y'all can get some shit popping in the UK. Absolutely. Y'all can have something popping in Manchester, wherever the fuck, somewhere in London, wherever the fuck y'all want to go. That's a good one. He coming off of the biggest win of his career against David Morrell, and niggas said that Ben Whitaker was scared of David Morrell, and he turned down a fight with David Morrell. And all right, so now I'm about to go knock out the nigga who still to this day ain't ever been stopped with Zach Chelly. I'm gonna stop him, the nigga who stopped David Morrell, so y'all can leave me the fuck alone. I respect that. You want Najee to pack up Khalil Cole? Najee will definitely pack up Khalil Cole. Khalil Cole just ain't focused, man. It just seemed like his head in the not in the right space, man. Missing weight, then acting like, when Jesse Hart was still trying to make the fight happen, he wasn't trying to give up no bread. Like, he was looking for any reason to pull out of the fight. I don't know, man. Like Khalil Cole, he got talent. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he motivated like that. I don't think he really wanted for real. I don't think he wanted as bad as them other guys around him, his peers. Is he still a Matchroom? I think so, but you could tell he on thin ice with Eddie. Eddie be trying, keep that shit to himself. But you could tell he not really feeling Khalil Cole right now. Because you gotta think about it this way, right? You giving a nigga opportunity. You a top promoter. Look, think about it this way, y'all. You a top promoter, not only in the United States, no, in the world. I'm one of the world's best promoters. I could have signed 1,000,001 people over you, but I chose you because I seen potential in you. I seen what you could do. I really feel like you could be a star. I'm giving you an opportunity that people would kill for, and you taking it for granted. I'm over here, got you fighting on this on the Zone platform, the biggest streaming platform for boxing today. You know what I mean? Got a shit ton of subscribers. I'm putting you on big cards. Like, I'm putting you on cards that a lot of people gonna tune in to see. Your name could butt if you do what you gotta do. You could build your profile fighting on these cards, still the show. You could do all these things. And not only that, but I'm paying you very well for your services. And this is how you repay me. I'm getting you the exposure that you're looking for. I'm keeping you active. I got you on big cards. I got people mentioning your name, and you know what I mean? Like, your name buzzing off of me, and I'm paying you well. I'm not just, I'm not just putting you on cards. I'm paying you very well. And you want to show up and miss weight? You want to show up and fight like shit? Like, no, bro. That's disrespectful, bro. It's a slap to the face. All this hard work I'm putting into you, and that's how you want to repay me? Crazy. You're not even a fucking world champion yet. Imagine when you were world champion, how the way you gonna be moving. No, I'm cool. I'm cool. The niggas thought you lost against Jesse Hart. I thought you did. Crazy. Yeah, they said Josh Kelly fight July 25th, bounce back. I don't know against who. I ain't even see it on BoxRec, but according to Eddie Hearn, Josh Kelly's fighting July 25th. Yeah, see, people thought you lost to Jesse Hart. Jesse Hart wasn't even 100%, to be honest with you. He didn't look like himself at all. Still outboxed you. I ain't gonna lie, that Zach Chelly fight and Ben Whitaker is actually a good fight. Didn't even think about it. That's a good fight. Wonder if Eddie Hearn feels that way. Ben Whitaker could definitely win that fight. And guess what? If Zach Chelly beat Ben Whitaker, then that nigga the truth. Zach Chelly really the truth. If he got David Morrell and Ben Whitaker on your resume, both undefeated guys, yeah. Yeah, body slammed him and all. Yeah, it's like Jesse ain't really want. I mean, I'm sorry. Khalil didn't want to fight for real, bro. He was already trying to get out of the fight, missing weight by like 8 pounds. You know what I mean? Jesse still accepted the fight. And then you go ahead and you body slam, bro. You asking to get DQ. Like, Khalil just did not want to fight. Yeah, Greg been on the B side before his whole career, basically. So he know what it's like to win a fight easy and still get robbed. I seen Greg get robbed. I seen Greg clearly win fights and they rob you. So he was giving him urgency because he like, yo, like I've been like basically like I've been here before. Like what you doing ain't enough. You on this nigga's soil, you on his platform, you on his promotion. You not just gonna outbox this nigga, tap him up and think you gonna get a decision. Like, no, you gotta go out there and get it. But I don't know. Like Jesse just didn't look like he was all the way there for me. J Cash, what up? Yeah, Jesse was definitely tired. But apparently he was sick of some shit. I mean, no excuses, but that's what I heard. I heard Jesse was sick. Nigga had like COVID like 2 weeks before the fight or something like that. But let me answer one more question. Let me see what they saying over here. Um, Bivol versus Callum order. Yeah, I don't even understand. I understand. Like, bro, don't nobody want to see Callum Smith versus no Dimitri Bivol, bro. Really don't. But that's how we gonna wrap up the live, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and show love as always. If y'all can go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, that'd be very much appreciated. I'll be back at y'all with another live tomorrow to continue cooking up what's going on in the boxing world. Until then, I hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.